So in this video, we're going to continue our conversation with inequalities, building them, solving them, all of that fun stuff. So we're going to start off in this video talking about variable on both sides. So in the previous video, we looked at solving when the variable was just on one side, doing the opposite operation. So now we're going to talk about variable on both sides. So the first thing is you have to understand we are going to be solving exactly the same way as if you did it with equations. All right, so we are going to be moving the smaller variable first, moving the constant to the other side, and solving just like we normally would. All right, so I have my pens ready, and we have our first story. So it says the Daily Info charges a fee of $650 plus $80 per week to run an ad in their newspaper. That's a lot of money, but think businesses. Businesses can afford that. All right, the People's Paper, they only charge $145 per week. So the question is, for how many weeks must the ad run for the total cost of Daily Info to be less expensive? So here we're going to be comparing two different companies to see when will one cost less than the other. So what I normally do when I'm comparing things, so I'm not as confused, I like to use something from the story to help me kind of organize myself. So I'm going to actually organize this, and I'm going to put Daily Info on the left, and I'm going to put People Paper on the right. So just so I have my brain, I'm happy. And again, it says Daily Info less expensive. So I want to know, when will Daily Info be less than People's Paper? Now, if this asked the other way around, my inequality would turn the other direction. So we want to make sure that we are starting the problem off exactly how it needs to be. So now we're going to build this expression. All right, so Daily Info has a fee of $650 plus $80 per week. So because of this per, that's how I know my variable is going to go with him. All right, that has to be less than People's Paper, and People's Paper is $145 per week. There's no extra to it, so it's just $145W. So there we have our setup. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve. All right, the W is only on this right side, which means we're going to move this 80 over, and we're going to do the opposite operation by subtracting. I'm going to put my equal sign bar going all the way across. So we have 650 that comes down. That cancels to 0. Because I subtracted, my inequality stays the same. And then I'm going to do 145 minus the 80, and I'm going to get 65W. All right, so now I need to undo the multiplication with the W. So I'm going to divide by 65 on both sides. And when I divide by 65 on both sides, I get that W is greater than 10. Okay. Now we have to interpret the answer. Because it's dealing with the story, we have to read the answer. So I can change my W to say weeks, just because I need to remember what is that variable we're talking about. So when my weeks are greater than 10. So the first question I have is, at 10 weeks, exactly 10 weeks, is the Daily Info cheaper? No, it's not. The Daily Info is going to be cheaper at more than 10 weeks. All right, so we got to declare our answer. Okay, the Daily Info will be less if run for more than 10 weeks. So at week 11 is when that will come into play. All right, so let's go ahead and have you try a couple. We have some you-dos for you. Okay, so here is our story. The school band is selling pizzas to raise money for the new uniforms. The supplier is going to charge $100 for using their service and then $4 for every pizza that they get. The band members are going to sell the pizzas for $7. So how many pizzas are they going to need to sell in order to make a profit? The other you do I have is, which inequality symbol are we going to use for the phrase at most, farther than, or up to? So I want you to go ahead and try these. What is the symbols for these three phrases? All right, so let's take a look at these answers. So first and foremost, all right, our school band, our setup would have been the $100 supplier fee plus the $4 per pizza is less than the $7 per pizza that I am charging. Okay, so to solve this, we would subtract the $4 per pizza. 100 is less than $3 per pizza. So really each pizza, they're making $3, but they still have to get past that $100 fee. All right, so from here then we're going to divide by 3. So pizzas are greater than 33 and a third. Okay, so I have to sell more than 33 and 1/3 pizzas. Well, I'm not going to just sell somebody a third or 2/3 of a pizza. I'm not going to be like, oh, you get there at 33 and a half. All right, so the band will need to sell at least, pen is dying, 34 pizzas. So at 34 pizzas, they are actually starting to make money. So they have to sell 34, and then after that, everything else is pure profit. All right, let's check out what symbols that you chose. At most would have been less than or equal to. So at most, I can spend $50. At the most, $50. So I have to spend under that. If I'm going further than something, I am greater than. So I need to go further than 10 feet. So I have to be greater than the 10 feet. And if I can only work up to something, I am working at less than or equal to. Okay. All right. So hopefully this clarified how to solve variable on both sides and that you would be good to go with everything.